Kenwood Towne Center. Expect the unexpected.
Opening in 1956, the then-named Kenwood Plaza would be the second shopping plaza in Metro Cincinnati, Ohio. A $100 million renovation would take place in the 80s to create what today is known as Kenwood Towne Center, an over 1,000,000 square foot enclosed shopping center. In a world where malls are dwindling, Kenwood Towne Center has managed to not only stay afloat, but thrive. If you know Ruin Road, you know we value our privacy. In our personal life, it's not always easy to maintain. Whether we know it or not, sites will mine our data like full name, email, health records, and more, which they will sell to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who wants to snoop. That's why we started using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our personal information and automatically submits opt-out requests on our behalf. This not only reduces the amount of spam you'll get, but protects against hackers who can use this information to gain access to our social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also provides a ton of other features bundled into one easy-to-use app at an affordable price. You get antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without needing to bother with different apps. We all have one or more of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. And if you're a regular viewer, you'll know how often that happens. Like 24-hour security, motion sensors, and guard dogs, Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping my info safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. Relaxing. Ruin Road values our privacy, and we also value yours. Go to aura.com/ruinroad to start a free 2-week trial, also linked below in the description. When it first opened as Kenwood Plaza, the 100,000 square foot shopping plaza featured 40 stores with 2 local anchors, McAlpin's and Pogue, with the grand opening held May 31st, 1956. In 1969, expansions to both anchors, along with additional stores to the rear of the small central arcade section, would be added on. But in 1985, major work would begin to transform the property into an enclosed mall, keeping the central section to the original plaza, the first phase of which opened October 29, 1987. Concerts, clowns, mimes, a parade, and fashion shows were all held for the grand opening, despite work still not being done inside the mall.
Some stores at the new Kenwood Towne Center opened right on schedule today. What wasn't on schedule was the completion of all the construction work, outside and inside. But inquisitive shoppers moved through the first phase of this multi-million-dollar mall, while final touches were being put in place. Meanwhile, merchants we talked with were optimistic about the mall and about the new business opportunities here.
There should be a lot more people going past that door out there, and that's what we need.
Some shoppers, however, are not as optimistic, at least not about the traffic problems here, saying it's already a headache to try to get in and out, and even around the shopping area.
It's bad now, and I think it's going to be worse.
It's hard to get in and out, especially if you're going to try to make a left.
Mall developers, however, claim to have the solution to the problem. One thing they want to do is put a stoplight here, plus widen and improve streets that lead in. The true test for whether the problem is fixed will be when everything is completed, and that'll be sometime in the fall of '88. Judy Alsobrooks, News 5.
One year later, Phase 2 would open the remaining 730,000 square foot dual-level concourse, along with the new massive third anchor of Lazarus, which other mall retailers complained was stealing their business. For this grand opening, Mickey Mouse would lead ceremonies, while Ray Charles would give a concert. Models were hired to hand out coupons to the first 2,000 visitors, with one of those winning a $2,500 shopping spree. 2 weeks later, Penny's would open and feature Littlefoot from Land Before Time at their grand opening fundraiser event. For half a year, Kenwood was the largest mall in the Cincinnati region, until Forest Fair opened in 1989 with a little over 300,000 additional square feet. In March 1989, radio DJ Steve Hawkins would live and broadcast from this shed built over the parking lot until he raised $50,000 for the Easter Seals nonprofit organization. Just 4 years after opening, Penny's would close due to low sales and higher than expected operating costs. But as soon as they announced their closure, department store Parisian would swoop in at the chance for a store at Kenwood. In 1995, Clyde Harold would be permanently banned from the mall by a judge. Clyde, who had admitted to flashing people over 1,000 times in the past 20 years, had at least twice been caught at the mall. Once for playing with himself inside a men's clothing store, and another for using a compact mirror to look up a woman's skirt. The judge would suspend an 8-month jail sentence and just give him 3 years probation for the incidents. That same month, Kenwood was the first local mall to go completely smoke-free, and it was noted other local malls were watching to see how it played out for them. In 1998, when 80-year-old Samuel Lee Rutledge came to walk the mall as part of the Kenwood Heart and Soul Mall Walkers Club, he found himself a surprise birthday party awaiting him in the food court. Since the early 90s, Rutledge would bring greeting cards to the mall to have them signed before sending them off to his friends for birthdays, anniversaries, or any other occasion. He would continue to walk the mall for several more years until he could no longer physically do so, and continued to send cards until his Alzheimer's got too bad. In April 2000, a car chase would lead to the mall, where the 2 fleeing suspects headed into the Parisian store and beat the cop following them in the elevator. Other police would apprehend one of the men, but the other escaped by jumping off the second-story parking garage and fled. Another incident occurred the following August, when carbon monoxide fumes from construction equipment in the Gap store that was being renovated got so high, 25 workers were sent to the hospital. In 2003, Lazarus would be bought out by Macy's, and this store would be expanded 2 years later to over 200,000 square feet. In the years since, the store would consistently rank as one of the top 50 performers in the Macy's store portfolio. The rest of the mall would renovate its facade to allow for exterior access to stores, and a new 12-store, 100,000-foot streetscape section was added.
Tonight, good news for shoppers visiting Kenwood Towne Center. 5 new stores have opened or are planning to open there, and as reporter Scott Wegener tells us, even more could be on the way.
You might never know the economy is sputtering if you visit Kenwood Towne Center in Sycamore Township.
It's awesome. We've got 2 new businesses that opened and 3 more on the way that we can announce. There's several others that are in process, but once we get the deals signed, then we'll be able to announce those.
Hart tells me there's at least 4 of those deals in the works. Francesca's Collections, which specializes in women's clothing and accessories, opened in June. At the other end of the mall, Buckle began selling men and women's clothing in July. Construction is underway for Arden B, Anthropology, and Pandora to open in the fall. Deborah Battle is a regular here, and she's excited to see the boom in shopping choices even when her money is tight.
Even though you don't have a lot of money, it does lift your spirits to see what you could get maybe sometime.
So what is it about Kenwood Towne Center that explains their growth when other malls are struggling?
We're supported by our shoppers, by our community, and that's why we're able to continue to offer more and more to our shoppers, because they support us.
Good news for the local economy and people like Battle.
I'm having a great time.
Scott Wegener, 9 News.
In 2007, original anchor Pogues would be torn down and replaced by a new Nordstrom anchor that would open 2 years later. Since the late 90s, there had been talks of Nordstrom coming to the Queen City as part of a downtown riverfront mall project, or as a fourth anchor to the mall. In 2008, a car chase would begin at the mall after another man was caught in a stolen vehicle. This time, he would flee and go on a 23-mile chase. While stories grew thin in the new millennium, don't think that meant the mall was dying, as this video from 2010 shows the mobs rushing in to purchase a new iPhone 4.
Going in right now, you can see them racing through, running, and they've got quite a little distance to go. They've got to run up a long hallway, turn left, and then run down several more feet to get to the Apple store. And of course, then there's going to be another line there because they want to try to get this phone before it actually sells out.
Today, Kenwood is as vibrant as ever. In a 2004 interview, the mall's manager stated that their key to success is to keep evolving with the times. For over 70 years now, Kenwood Towne Center has parlayed that into being the most popular mall around Cincinnati.